Hello and welcome to the Southeast Idaho Weather Hazard Briefing for Monday, October 7th. And we'll start here with what we call the horizontal weather depiction or surface weather depiction. You can see currently, and at least for today, we have high pressure locked in over the Intermountain West, but you can see there's rain and snow and high elevation snow and rain in portions of the Pacific Northwest and in the Idaho Panhandle. This will all be sliding to the southeast and will start affecting us, well, even as late as tonight with an increase in the wind. Wind should stay gusty all during the overnight hours, and then very strong winds and some snow starting out in the high elevations at first on Tuesday, and then Tuesday night it will, and into Wednesday it will actually start to snow even in places like Pocatello and Idaho Falls. And will continue windy through Wednesday morning. Or very windy actually. So let's take a look at this first. Here's the high temperatures for today. Today we are expecting it to remain mostly sunny. You can see temperatures are continuing some strong warming compared to even yesterday. And winds not doing much today. This afternoon actually fairly light and out of the southwest. 10 to 15 miles an hour over the Arco Desert. And then overnight, a lot warmer than they were this morning, Monday morning. You can see most places actually above freezing, with the exception of the usual alpine basins like Stanley Basin, Copper Basin, and then Fairfield area right in here. And then here's Tuesday. The precipitation will start off as rain, and it really just a slight chance for most locations. This might be a little bit too far south. And again, it should be really light rain. We're not expecting much in the way of more than 1/10 of an inch. Here's the wind. For the morning hours, you can see some very strong winds. Where it turns blue, you're looking at in excess of basically 20. Green is 30 miles an hour. You can see it's basically 20 to 25 in the morning here. And that's an average wind for this 6-hour time period. A lot of it's out of the south, and so it's what we call a downslope wind. So it will be gusty, especially in places like Pocatello, all these other river valleys that are north-south oriented, and then of course up in the mountains very strong winds. And in the afternoon it's even worse. You can see basically 25 to 35 miles an hour down here in many locations, with the exception of this shadowed area where it's a little bit less. Very strong winds blowing in the central Idaho mountains, especially on the ridges, and even down here on these ridges it's starting to blow pretty hard. Winds of this speed will be lifting dust, and so blowing dust will also be a factor, especially here starting in the afternoon. The highs will actually continue to warm from yesterday. We still don't have a whole lot of clouds, although it will be on the increase. And you can see it does taper off. It's not quite as strong warming as we had between Sunday and Monday. The afternoon wind continues to be strong. You will see it sort of even out here and strengthen, especially over the southeastern highlands. And again, these are sustained winds. And we do expect it will be at least wind advisory conditions for most of the day on Tuesday into Tuesday evening, and then picking up again after midnight on Tuesday night. You can see, actually it's more towards 6 a.m. time period. This would be sort of the average for this time from 12 to 6 a.m. in the morning. And overnight lows about the same. The cold air will have moved in, but it'll continue to be breezy, and so we aren't seeing a whole lot of decrease in the temperature so far. It's also still cloudy, with the snow falling. So let's look at the snow. Here's the Tuesday evening snowfall amounts. Basically just a dusting on very high elevations. It's just taking a while. After midnight, though, you'll see it will start to sink further down the mountains, and the amount in the mountains will intensify. The dark green there is basically 2 to 3 inches during this time period. You still see a lot of the highways especially are staying clear, with the exception of any of the higher elevation passes, such as one over here, Reynolds Pass. Okay, day 3, Wednesday, we are looking at basically snow everywhere, then a rain and snow mix in this Bear Lake Basin area, where the temperatures are a little bit warmer, but it's still a rain-snow mix, which basically means high elevation snow. So here's the snow. You can see it's really starting to appear in the Salmon River Mountains. It's really starting to accumulate. That's looks like 2 to 5 inches again for this 6-hour period during the overnight, or in the morning rather, and then in the afternoon continues another 1 to 2 inches, and especially in Lemhi County along the border. The winds will continue, like I said, to be windy. Here's the morning winds on Wednesday, still very strong, and so I would imagine there would be a wind advisory at least out for this time frame. And then it starts to die off here in the afternoon, and it'll die off even more 6 p.m. to midnight. So maximum temperatures. Now this looks like an overnight low because the temperatures are all purple, but this is the afternoon highs on Wednesday. Only looking at 39 degrees, so it's a drop from 69 in Pocatello the day before to 39. That's a 30-degree drop in 24 hours. So that's impressive. That's how big this front is. That's why there's a lot of wind associated with it as well, and that's also, of course, why there's snow. Snow continues into Wednesday evening, but this is when it pretty much stops for us. We're not expecting anything after midnight. Overnight temperatures for Wednesday night, you can see it's dropping, but it's still a little bit breezy, and cloud cover is still around, and so the temperatures just fall into the teens. It gets even worse later on, though. So the storm totals for this time period, basically from noon tomorrow until midnight on Wednesday night, we are looking at 4 to 6 inches in the Island Park and along this border with Montana, and the same thing up here in Lemhi County, some of the higher elevation mountains. But the further south you come, the less it will be. But we are expecting at least a skiff of snow in places like Blackfoot, Pocatello, and Burley. So all along this freeway, places, same thing in Malad City and Malta, and Soda Springs, Montpelier, all these areas. Just a dusting of snow pretty much, but snow is expected. Here's your extended forecast. Not going to read through this too much. We're already kind of late here, but you can pause this and look at these are temperatures for these regions. The abbreviations are given down here. Mostly it's, with the exception of Thursday, we're looking at sunny days, clear overnights. That's all I have. If you have any additional questions, you can contact us at this telephone number here. If you have any comments on the content of the briefing or any feedback for the briefing, email our webmaster here, or check out the weather yourself at weather.gov/Pocatello. Thanks for watching.